Well, it's time for another Real Talk with the Real Housewife, and I'm really excited to say hello to my co-host, and you always have such interesting people to talk to. Mary Amons from the Real Housewives of D.C. Mary, how are you?
Hi, Neil. Thank you so much. I am so excited to have another episode of our wonderful show, Real Talk with the Real Housewives. And you know, I am figuring out I have some pretty cool friends, and being on the Real Housewives has opened some doors to some meeting some amazing women, and two of them, this is the second one we'll be talking to. Aviva Drescher is currently shooting season 6 of the Real Housewives of D.C. Oh, sorry, not of D.C., of New York. I wish you were on D.C. with me. That would have been fun. She is in her second season on the show, and she's a mother of 4 children. And we had a very interesting introduction through our friend and her family member, Fran Drescher. But let me take this moment to introduce you, Aviva. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us.
Great. Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, it's fantastic, Aviva, for you being on the show, and I'm excited to talk to you. Mary's told me so much about you, and I heard a couple weeks ago you wanted to just do an impromptu interview just shopping, and I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, I would have done that. That would have been really fun.
Well,
fun. You have your 18-month-old in the shopping cart at where were you? Or a container store?
I was at the container store.
So as mothers and busy mothers that we are, we can easily multitask. And Neil himself is a father of a bunch of kids, and so he knows how that goes. So we probably would have done a really fun interview if we had done it. But
so funny.
We're here now.
You would have heard me doing some real-life screaming instead of on-air screaming.
Right. Okay.
I would have been like, what's up? The computer's going. Don't touch that.
Well, I tried to conduct an interview driving to Hilton Head, South Carolina, and I found that my kids figured out every way to mess it up. So I had to always put it on mute, and I was interviewing somebody. And my wife's like, how'd you come up with these questions? And I'm like, well, you just have to deal with these things. So,
totally.
Multitask and make it happen. So anyway, Aviva, tell us how it's going. You're in the middle of shooting now.
Yeah.
And are you surviving?
Oh, Mary, you know all the pleasures of filming for Housewives. Oh, the fun and the glory of this business. We're in the middle. We're deep into filming, and it is. I am absolutely blown away by this season, and it really is going to be. I think it's going to be one of the most dramatic seasons ever on Real Housewives of New York. I mean, yeah, it is totally different from last year. So many twists and turns, and major drama. And as usual, I hate to say this, but I seem to be front and center again.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I swore to myself, I swore to the higher power that I would absolutely just be on the sidelines this season, and I wasn't going to, I don't know, it's like, you know what, drama just hits me wherever I go. I don't know what happened, but I'm right there in it again.
Well, that's the name of the game, Just keep your dignity as you so beautifully do. It was so fun sitting down with you a few weeks ago. I had an opportunity, Neil, to visit with Aviva in person. We've been friends for the last year and a half or so on text. I was giving her some coaching as she began this embarked on this crazy train that she jumped on. Because she, too, has children, and she, I think, had the same concerns I had about how to keep your privacy and also not, throw your children into such a vulnerable state by having them exposed on a reality show like this. But it sounds like you've done a great job. I can see you've done a great job in maintaining, your role in the show, as well as also managing your busy life and your busy family and all your businesses and your charities that you're involved in. So I commend you for that. And I knew you could do it. So I just, I think my word of advice for you was to just be yourself and protect your family as much as you could, and just have fun with it. And it looks like you've been doing a great job doing that.
Oh, thank you, Mary. I think have fun with it is the best advice. And already you and I are both people who like to give back to society, and I've got that one checked off, and I think I just need to have more fun. It's just a little bit hard to have fun when a lot of the time you're arguing with people.
Yeah.
Well, tell our listeners about what you've been doing as far as giving back. I know you're an amputee. You suffered a serious accident as a child and lost part of your leg. And now you are the national spokesperson for an organization called One Step Ahead that supports amputees. So tell us a little bit about that.
So, really, one of the big reasons that I jumped into this ring of gladiators, a.k.a. called the Housewife franchise, was really because I wanted to get, on TV in front of, practically 2 million people as an amputee, as somebody with physical challenges, and really just give other people, some hope, because when you lose a limb, like anything that's serious, it's very, very, very scary. And, you don't know if you're going to walk again. You don't know if you could have children. You don't know what your life is going to be like. And so by me being on air as an amputee, the most rewarding part of it has been helping people on a very large scale, because TV goes far and wide. The show goes internationally. On a smaller level, I have this charity called One Step Ahead, and we raise money for children who need prosthetic limbs, and we create athletic environments. And another charity that I work intimately with is called Challenged Athletes Foundation, and that one also creates athletic environments for amputees and gives away limbs that are needed for sports and for athletics. And I plan on campaigning to get insurance to pay for more limbs in general, because they're not covered enough by insurance. And I also meet one-on-one with as many amputees that I can who need a helping hand to adjust to their situation.
I did a little research on you. Sorry, Neil, I'm cutting you off, but I wanted to share with you and our audience that when I was doing a little more research on Aviva before our conversation, there's some really, really touching video clips on Extra TV where Aviva goes into the room of Heather Abbott, who's an amputee, one of the victims of the Boston Marathon bombing. And it's so touching to see you really give her, and it's very, right after her surgery, so she's freshly dealing with this emotionally and also physically. Yeah. And you really did touch the audience with your compassion and also just giving her, reassurance that she's going to walk again, she's going to dance again. And you forgot to tell her that she can get her toenails painted even again.
Yeah.
This is my favorite scene of yours in the season 1 season. I love that scene where you're in the pedicure chair with. Were you with Ramona?
I was with Sonia.
Sonia, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, not Ramona.
No, it's okay. Sonia and I went shoe shopping. Ramona and I went shoe shopping together. I think my favorite thing. Raising money is so hard, as you know, and I love doing it, but it's very challenging. My favorite thing to do is to meet with people one-on-one. I didn't only meet with Heather Abbott. I met with about 6 other victims of the marathon bombing. That day I went to Boston, and they were all women, and they were all, just coming out of it. And it's so odd, bad things happen to good people, and it really is true, because every woman that I met was just so wonderful and brave and courageous, and, they inspire me. I'm there to tell them it's going to be okay, but they really just inspired me with their strength and their courage. And, I remember I saw them after that day that I visited them in the ICU in the hospital. I saw they came. I had them come to New York for a Challenged Athletes Foundation gala, so that they could be part of this sort of amputee community that's very successful and athletic and happy. And so they came in for the night to New York, and one of the women turned to me and she said, "Aviva, when was the last? How often do you have to use crutches?" And I looked at her, and I said, I don't want to say her name, let's just call her Jane. I said, "Jane," I said, "I haven't used crutches in 25 years. Wow. They don't know that this temporary time of adjustment is only temporary.
Wow.
That they will be doing everything. So that's sort of what I'm there for, and that's kind of why I do the show. And, it's tremendously rewarding to help other people and to really to make them feel better about this situation that just feels awful. And it's not awful. It's fine. They're all going to be happy and functional people again.
And Aviva, you should be commended for that. And it sounds like a lot of the housewives I've talked to and other people who have gone to reality shows, they do it so they can bring awareness to a cause. And it seems like by you being able to do this, it gives people hope. And I think that's ultimately what your goal is, to give people hope, even though they lost a limb or they have to have a situation that's really a difficult crutch to deal with. They're still able to overcome it through seeing witnesses like yourself, Aviva, correct?
Yes, exactly. And, I think it is so important, anybody in the public arena. I think everyone tries to give back and to help, and there isn't, one person on the planet who goes through life unscathed, and there also isn't one person in the public arena who goes through life unscathed. Everybody has their baggage, and so those who are courageous enough to take their baggage and say, "Let me help you," or "Let me share my baggage," so that you can feel like you're not alone. I commend, anybody in the private sphere and the public sphere who does that. But, public sphere, you can really reach a lot of people. You can make a living. People make a living from it. People start religious doing it, and you can also help people doing it. So there's a lot of positivity by being in the public eye.
And you can either choose.
That's why I love you.
Yeah, and also, Aviva, you can either choose to do good when you get this opportunity of a celebrity experience, or you could choose to not capitalize on it. It seems like you had a reason for going on. It wasn't ultimately to get in the limelight for, I guess, reasons of just stardom. You're looking at others and how you can bring that awareness to others and also help people through certain things. And I'm sure that a lot of people don't see always the storylines on some of the Real Housewives shows, but they educate people in many other ways on certain causes, certain things, and to learn about, even though you might have wealth or maybe have certain status, you're going to have the same difficulties. And I guess it helps the everyday person as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's not, what I'm doing is not just isolated to amputees. Anybody with physical challenges, anybody who's having, a hurdle to get over. And yes, you're 100% right. I didn't do the show for the limelight at all. I got to say, it's not like, I'm not feeling the glamour doing this reality show. I don't feel it. I knew the show was going to be an uber headache. I knew it was going to be hard because I had watched it and I had seen the ladies argue and the kind of personalities that are hired to do the show. And I certainly wasn't doing it for a financial reward, and I just, really at the end of the day, wanted to make a difference. And I looked at my husband and I said, you know what? We don't have any skeletons in our closet. Or I said to him, do you have any skeletons in your closet? And he said, no. And he looked at me and he's like, any sex tapes? And I said, no. Our kids were young enough that they haven't gotten into trouble yet. So I did, and I was like, you know what? No matter what happens, I'll make a difference. And so I'll take the headache, and I'll take all the baloney, and I'll take all the nonsense and the silly bloggers. And, you know, at the end of the day, if I can make a difference, it'll be worth it. So it has been worth it. It really has.
Well, you've done it beautifully and gracefully, and you are glamorous and fabulous and all of those things that we see. And you really have done a wonderful job in using this platform and this exposure to help others. And, you know, it's really, I think it's the best way we can come away from it and feel like we really made the right decision to sign on for this. We really have made an impact on people. I mean, I'm sure like you, like me, I still, and I'm not even current with the show, 2 years later, I still get daily interaction with my followers and just applauding me for inspiring them or, you know, encouraging them with my charity work or what, you know, my family life, all of that. So even today, where I'm not even on TV 2 years later, I'm still getting a lot of encouragement from the people that I'm interacting with, so that are following. Oh, I can't imagine. It must be, you know, like hourly for you, your followers.
Oh my God! No, I don't. Yeah, I believe it. You look at Kathy Ireland. You have 5 children. You're getting. You got divorced.
I mean, Kathy Ireland, thank you.
You do, and it's like, I mean, look at what you're pulling off. I mean, it's, you know, it's so relatable what you've gone through. It's so much, and you know, yeah, I think in 10 years people are going to be knocking down your door. I mean,
no, so something big's going to happen with Mary. I mean, trust me, it's going to be bigger than the Housewives brand. I just believe it through her spirit and learning so much from her since we connected on my radio show and decided to do this. I just believe everyone she meets, she is able to touch in some sort of way to bring them ahead, and she's always looking to give back. And I think that's what she told me about you, Aviva, saying that you're amazing in that you always want to give back. You always want to pay it forward. Tell us other specific ways that you're able to do it, especially once you became a celebrity. Once the show finally aired, the first season, and you got out there and talked to people, you really had the opportunity to be in conversations with so many people and change their lives in some way, right?
Yeah. Well, it ran a huge span. I mean, from, you know, social media, emails, to my website. I met, I mean, hundreds of new amputees, young women, older women. There was one woman in particular, her name is Bee, and she had diabetes, and she was struggling. She couldn't walk because one of her legs was out of commission from diabetes, and she was deciding whether or not to amputate her leg, which was suggested by the doctors. And she contacted me and asked me what to do. And I said to her, if your leg is not useful to you, and the doctors are saying to amputate it, you should definitely amputate your leg because you'll be fully functional. And to this day, she writes me emails every month saying how thankful she is. I got her the doctors, I got her the prosthetists, and I literally was talking to her in the hospital through the whole process. And that was one whole story from beginning to end that I had some impact on. Young women who lose their limbs in accidents, since the show, contact me, or their parents contact me. Can you call our daughter? And I speak to young women who are 16 and, you know, how hard at 16 to lose your legs. And they speak to me and they see me on TV and they feel like it's going to be okay. All the way to, I'll go to a restaurant and somebody will come over to me and she, like, is missing the tip of her finger, and she was coming to me and she was crying. And she said, you know, my whole life I've been so self-conscious about my finger. And then when you got on the camera and you were there with your artificial leg, you made me feel like my finger was nothing. And so it really runs the gamut, you know. It really runs the gamut. And, you know, one step ahead is raise money, and, you know, on a larger scale, we've raised money and we've given, you know, limbs away. And same thing with Challenged Athletes Foundation. And now, actually, I'm just finishing up a book, my first book, which is so exciting. It's called Leggy Blonde. It's called Leggy Blonde, and it's a memoir. And I'm hoping that the book, you know, through sharing slices of life and experiences will also, make people laugh and cry and hopefully, it's honestly will help people. And not just amputees, just people in general. We all have our, stuff. And I put it all out there in my book.
And that's what it seems like, Aviva and Mary, and it sounds like you guys are so connected in so many ways that you use your status to help others. You use your status to have conversations, because when we're the average everyday person, we could do the same thing, but we sometimes choose not to do it. And this is a public service announcement for my listeners that are, average people. You have the opportunity to impact other people's lives through your daily interactions with others. Choose that. Mary and Aviva have chosen it through being celebrities, but have utilized it in a way that's a positive way. We've all dealt with, and Aviva, I'm sure, and Mary, you've met certain celebrities that have snubbed you completely at one point in time, didn't talk to you, and you felt hurt and sad. It's great to hear how down to earth you both are. Wouldn't you agree, Mary?
Well, there are, Neil, there are a few real housewives. And several of them have become good friends of mine, and it really, our common thread is that we decided to take the risk and go on this show that was truly a risk because our families are involved, to really make a difference and give back, and that's really what is going to, I think, be sustainable in being able to use this actually on this network, on this level of notoriety, that really the only way to really grow with this and grow this brand that we're creating is to make sure that it has positive impacts on others. So.
Yeah. And, it's a good point. It's just, about people who are not on television or in movies and all that, they absolutely can, they can give back and help. And, actually, I talked to so many people and I've met so many people from the show. I actually have found that, people are really great and giving for the most part and wonderful, as is. So, it's wonderful to meet people and feel the love and, people are by nature, really good. And the people who aren't so nice, sometimes you get those, weird tweets or, bizarro people who are, writing blogs. I don't know, when they do, all that nasty stuff, I feel so bad for them. I'm like, how unhappy that they must be to use some, public person as a punching bag. And I just want to go out and give them a hug,
It definitely is people that spend the time and energy to bring other people down just because they've put themselves out there, especially the good ones, the ones that have positive, intentions behind why they're doing it, are usually the ones that are just, they're unhappy people, they're miserable people, and they're using they're creating their own platforms to bring people down.
And what happens sometimes, girls, ladies, what happens sometimes, sorry to interrupt both of you, is that what happens with these bloggers is literally they look at how the show's presented on television and they don't look at that they're real people, that really they're suffering through some hard times. What we see in the Real Housewives of Jersey, which is the one I really watch with my wife on Sundays, and I see specifically the heartache that's going on. Some of these people think it's not reality. This is really not happening to these people. They're really not sad and crying and are angry. In the case of, and really they are. And Aviva, wouldn't you agree that sometimes they cannot, they look at television and think of television as acting and that this is not real, right, Aviva?
Sometimes, sometimes. And I just think that some people watch this and, I don't know, they just sort of, they're very, they're very angry. Sometimes people get really angry at reality personalities. I don't really understand it. I kind of it's sort of weird to me. I don't really get it. I don't know.
Yeah, my theory is that there's a lot of unhappy people in the world, as we've just discussed. That there are a lot of wonderful people in the world, but there are a lot of unhappy people in the world. But I think enjoy watching other people involved with all kinds of problems and drama so that it kind of can deflect from their own pain and problems at home. And
yes, exactly.
I think that they end up, relating and then end up getting jealous and angry at, some of this, because we do have fame and we do have notoriety and we do have a following. And I think that the angry ones end up, getting vicious and mean. And also because we're in an era of technology, people hide behind their computers. People hide behind their tweeting. They would never to your face say a lot of these nasty things that go on. Never.
Right. Exactly.
They just wouldn't. So
it definitely takes a certain kind of person to write something negative on the computer to somebody else. That's a thank God it's a rare bird, but it's a certain kind of bird.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share with us about what you're up to? You're writing your book and you're doing major. Good.
Finishing up my book and filming the show and taking care of my family and having a really fun summer. And just doing my work with the individuals in hospitals and trying to raise money and and whatever all I can handle.
When are you all scheduled to wrap your filming of this season?
I think that filming is going to wrap the end of September. Okay. And I don't know when we're airing. I know. Don't you
sorry for me, Mary?
I know. I don't know when it's airing. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we didn't know that we weren't coming back until about 2 weeks before we were supposed to get our contract.
Oh my!
It's such an unusual business.
Yeah. It's the nature of that beast, and but it's been a great opportunity for exposure for good. So I thank you so much for joining us today, Aviva. You're such a dear, and
thank you.
You inspire so many. So thank you for coming on.
And
thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Aviva, where can we find information on you? And then I'm going to ask for Mary, and then you can. Where can we find info on you, Aviva? Your website?
Oh, right on my website. On my AvivaDrescher.com.
Okay, and then Twitter as well.
Twitter, yeah. And Facebook Aviva Drescher and Twitter at Aviva Drescher is more current is probably Facebook and Twitter. Aviva Drescher at Aviva Drescher for sure.
You guys are fantastic, and Mary Amons. We can find information at Mary Amons on Twitter, and where else, Mary?
Lablesforlove.org, and my personal website is up now, maryamons.com.
I didn't get to see that, and I'll have to check that out. So, guys, thanks for calling, and I appreciate, Aviva, for you taking the time in your busy schedule, especially during filming, to come on the show. So you have to be commended for that one, because I don't know how many people could say they have the first to take the time. So thanks, Mary, for connecting me. And, Aviva, good luck on the season, and we'll hope to have you back in 6 months to give us an update of what's going on with all your different charity work. So thanks.
Absolutely, and we'll be airing then, so we'll have a lot to gossip about.
Oh, my.
Well, thanks so much.
All right,
I'll be up in the city soon, and I'll call you.
All right,
thanks. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, you're listening to Real Talk with Real Housewife with Mary Amons and the Total Education Network, Total Education Celebrity Show. And we'll be back in just a moment.